What's happening, traders, and welcome back to Shifty FX. As you can see, I'm currently in a GBPUSD trade. I'll give you a breakdown of how I've managed to capitalize on this trade, and we should shortly be hitting take profit. Just going through the basics of what I've seen this morning. Let's drop onto the higher time frame. Okay, so if we have a look here, higher time frame, we've tapped external range liquidity, given a strong reaction off, okay? And our next likely draw is based on that daily fair value gap. All right, so this is the scenario I'm putting in my head. We've swept liquidity, displaced to the downside. If we're going to continue down to this daily fair value gap, I'd like to see a tap, react, and continue down. If we invert this, we could see this being our next draw on liquidity. That being said, if we go to the 4 hour, you'll see that market, once it swept, we had a clear change in the state of delivery here on the 4 hour. Strong displacement to the upside, creating these fair value gaps. So we have a 4 hour fair value gap, giving us a good indication that market is respecting this level, this external range liquidity, displacing to the upside and going to show its hand to tap into this daily fair value gap. Now, does this mean we want to sell here immediately? Absolutely not. We want to see market react, give a strong daily close out of there, and then give an indication that we might target this external range liquidity, but it's a waiting game now. Okay, so once we've mapped out our 4 hour, we can then drop down and start refining other levels. Okay, so we have our 4 hour, we have our 1 hour overlapping, which you can refine down. Okay, now I'll give you a breakdown why I didn't execute off of this 1 hour fair value gap as opposed to this one to the downside, and that is purely because I use DXY as my leader. DXY will dictate what happens in the markets, and once GU tapped that initial fair value gap, it was only at this point on DXY. I want to see DXY take the Asian range high. And that's the only reason, guys. Every single time I trade, DXY is my leader, EU and GU are my laggers. I need to see DXY sweep liquidity, okay, and displace to the downside, which we see over here. Swept liquidity, displaces to the downside, inverting this fair value gap. Let's get back onto GU. What do we see on GU? No inversion, but what do I keep on preaching with my execution candles? We want to see strong rejection, and then we want to see the confirmation candle. Okay, once we get that next momentum candle after the rejection out of a fair value gap or order block or sweeper liquidity, you can execute the trade. So market pushed up aggressively immediately. I got slipped a little bit, but still managing to capitalize on 2.5R for the day. All right. And as far as market goes now, we could be seeing a higher draw. And what I am potentially looking at is maybe a tap into this 1 hour, mitigating a bit of this strong impulse. All right. But in the time being, my trading day is done. I'm not going to try and anticipate a reversal out of this and try get in, be the first one in. No, if it's going to respect it, wick up, wick down, give me a strong rejection daily candle close, I will then continue with sells. If I see a strong bullish candle close today, I'll continue with the buys. We have a look at DXY. DXY could be targeting much lower to the downside. Mitigates this level, this gap with a fair value gap here. There we go. You can see the 4 hour fair value gap taps in, pushing down, wants to mitigate a bit of this news candle. And ultimately, if it disrespects that, we could see a target, these relative equal lows. But while we're having a look here, I'll have a brief overlook for you. In this order block, respecting the 50%, Okay. Sorry. Let me take this rather. Respecting the 50% of that order block. So your mean threshold, giving a strong rejection. So this previous week's high is still my draw on liquidity. Okay, using the 2-candle theory, we've seen a sweep low, strong reaction out, strong bullish candle close. What we could see is a deeper retracement into this candle. So if we move this across for now, let's just keep it in place there, but move it across for ourselves and use our fib level. We could see market retrace anywhere within this 25 to 50. This is our optimal range that we want to see it trade towards. If we go to the daily now, what do we see? We have a daily fair value gap. Let's drop down, see if we can start refining these. We have a nice 4-hour in here. Again, if we push down lower, we have the 1 hour. So let me remove this because this is our 50%. Within that 50% of the previous week, we could see market retrace deeper. Give a strong daily candle close out here. And then we are going to ride that momentum to the upside. Okay. Taking it to the previous week's high. Using our 2-candle theory, that being our draw on liquidity. All right. But a nice win on GU this morning. Clean trade, simple, under the Asian range. Midnight open. Markets traded, power of 3. And just executed on what I've seen. I've seen a strong reaction candle. You'll see there on the daily. Rejecting out of this external range liquidity over here. Giving a good indication that market has potentially flipped. We've had a 4-hour change in the state of delivery. Targeting this internal range now and potentially higher. All right, traders. I hope that helps you out. Just a quick to the point recap on what I've seen this morning and managed to capitalize on GU. Catch you during the week. Cheers.